fun, we're going to try to derive the quadratic formula. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And I'm going to use completing the square to do it. So we're going to do what we've always done. And the first step is divide everything by a, because if you'll remember, I need to have just an x here. I need x equals 1. So everything has to be divided by a. And when I do that, I get x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equals 0. Then I do what I always do with complete the square, is I move the c over a to the other side, and I get x squared plus b over a times x equals negative c over a. And I know that this value that's going to go here is whatever's in front of x divided by 2 squared. Well, that's going to mean, if I work that out, it's b over 2a squared, because if I'm dividing by a, that's going to go on the bottom, the denominator, but the 2 still stays there. So what I'm going to add to both sides, and I guess I will put it in orange after all to make it clear, is plus b squared over 4a squared on the bottom, and b squared over 4a squared right there. Okay. Next, I can now do plus b over 2a squared, because I've completed my square. And on this side, I'm going to reverse direction and have b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. But I want a common denominator on this side. And because I want a common denominator, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 4a. So I'm going to leave this as is. And b squared over 4a squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. I'm going to continue up here. X plus b over 2a squared equals, I now have b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Well, I'm going to take the square root of both, because I'm getting closer to having x isolated. When I do that, I get x plus b over 2a equals square root of b squared minus 4ac over square root of 4a squared, because I can separate those into 2. This leaves me with x equals b over 2a plus or minus, because all square roots are plus or minus, the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and the square root of 4a squared is 2a. Finally, I now have x equals, now these are the same denominator, so I can add them together. Oh, and I moved it over, sorry, I should have said once I move this over to this side, I'm subtracting b over 2a, so it should be negative. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And you can see that you have a quadratic formula. Which comes from simply completing the square of the quadratic equation. Good luck with the homework. Take care, guys.